How you doing? This is Ronnie Santmeyer, back for part 2 of this Luna560 versus API hardware 560. In this video, it's going to be a little shorter. We're going to open it up inside a plugin doctor and just take a look at the curves there. And I revisit that IK Multimedia PG EQ that I'm not a super big fan of, but funny enough, it looks closer curve-wise to the hardware in these examples than it sonically sounded in the last video. I felt like the Luna was a little closer than the IK, but in this video you'll see for yourself, and you can comment below and tell me your thoughts on the other video or what you think of this. And also a little shout out to my buddy Anthony Sotola. He let me borrow his Api560 to do this video. I have the Cappy LC25s, which I thought about trying to incorporate, but really they're not the same frequencies points on those EQs, so wouldn't really help. But thanks to him for letting me borrow this. Let's hop right into Plugin Doctor and check this out, and then we'll check back in a second. Thanks. Okay, so we just listened to those, and they sound pretty close in some areas and not so close in other areas. I thought I'd pop open the Plugin Doctor. We can take a look here. So this sends a tone out through here, and I'm going to put this other plugin up here too, and then this is the hardware over here. So we can just take a look. Right now, you see it's flat. The way this is hosting this plugin right now, I noticed it doesn't have a bypass switch up here, so you can just use the power button here. So this EQ we've been looking at, I'm taking this as the same as Luna. I don't know how to run, I probably could have figured it out, but a way of running through Luna to get the Luna EQ into this program, but it was just easier to open up the plugin over here. Kind of the same, except for this could flip between the 550B and the 560. So if I turn just the unit on, if you notice, compressor, the dynamics are off, all this is off. If I hit the power button, instantly the UAD legacy channel strip has a curve to it already. I mean, it's down to 4 hertz. I don't think we're going to be listening to that, but you can see it actually has something. Now, if I kick on the EQ, you see that little change? So it actually has a little bit of a lift to the sound of the EQ on with it, not bypass, but in Unity, it's zeroed out. So you can see that curve happen. And something else interesting, because it's supposed to be modeled differently, the 550, again, all flat, that actually dips differently. See, that comes down. The 560's got a little bit more lift to it here. Everything is flat on the hardware. Now let's pop on the hardware here. Now this, with it off, as you see, goes down, but it actually has a lift at 20 hertz, 22.1 hertz. Then it comes down and does this little, that's the movement is that test tone running through. But this actually has a little lift to it as well, kind of like this did. Let's check this out. So if I turn this on, yeah, see, it's got almost that little same lift, but I don't know why the hardware has that bump right there. It's interesting. And I don't know where that is on this, because you see how wide these cues are. So let's lift the 1K like we were doing in the test. You can see how wide it is. And if you cut it, so that's 1K on this unit. Yeah, there we go. So we can kind of see. So let me do 1K on the hardware a second. That's all the way up on the hardware. And that's all the way up. Not exactly the same, but sort of close. Let's check out something real quick. This plugin, there we go. So this plugin we were looking at earlier looks like that with a curve, which is funny because that is a little close to the hardware. Sort of. See where this goes off? But I'm pretty sure that is different here, but this part looks similar. Except this one goes a little more, the hardware actually goes more flat. This has a little bit of a lift to it. So if I boost 1K on this one, It looks like this. We're all the way up right there. Let's do the hardware again. That looks pretty close, which is funny, since during the test, I felt like the Luna one sounded closer than this one did. But at least those curves right there look okay. Let's check out another area. I was saying the bottom felt weird to me, so let's check out like 125. All right, let's do the hardware. And that's sort of close. Actually, this boosts a little more. Yeah, so I'm wondering if where that cuts some there, I wonder if that's what keeps the hardware from sounding cloudy, where this one has kind of a weird low end. I don't know. To me, it just feels like the low end's a little too thick at times. That's why I chose not to use it a lot. Let me go back to the vision channel strip a second. So 125 on here. That's what that looks like. And that actually curves way over here and goes up. So it's actually lighter in the bottom here. Let's try, what's 250 look like? So let's do 250 on here instead. Yeah, so that's why I think this seems a little too dramatic at times, or just a little too thick, like I said, in the bottom. But this is boosting more, so it might be why this can get out of hand at times. Let me look at the hardware. So there's 250. Hardware 250s right there. The IK one, similar. And that one, not so similar here, which is funny, because I still feel like the Luna one, which again, it should be the same as this, sounds different. So let's go a lot lower. Let's go 63 hertz and 8K. Let's see what that looks like. So that's boosted crazy loud. And let's see if this guy can do that. So 8K. 63. Almost the shape, but it's like the IK is always louder. So that's its peak is at 6.9 or 7 dB, and this is at 562 hertz and more 58.9 hertz. Let's check out the hardware doing the same curves. And there's the hardware. Okay, with the IK, it's close again. Not as close here. It's actually taking a little more out where the hardware 6 dB at 556, like 607, -7. So let me flatten this again. And here's 4K. Okay, now I'm going to turn the hardware on, 4K, bam. Again, it seems like it's close to that IK. That's so weird, because it did not sound, unless I have to go back and do a better test with that, but I don't know. It always, the low end of that thing feels weird to me. All right, let's do this real quick. I can't really use the hardware for this, but we were talking about, I don't have a 550 hardware, but let's check out this real quick. So let me go here and say, here's the Waves 550B mono. Load plug-in, and we'll put it in slot 2. So now let's just compare these two 550s, even though this is a 560 video technically. I'm curious. So let me bring this back down a little bit. Or up, I should say. Okay, so I was saying this is, everything's flat on here. If I turn on these filters, you can see that squeeze in. That's where the filter actually starts to kick in. Even though it says 20 hertz, it's kicking up to more like 10. And as I adjust the filter, it's going to move that in. If I turn a gate on, it's going to chop everything off because it's gating. Compression doesn't really do anything. And the EQ in this isn't, let me see if, Oh yeah, let me zero that out. Yeah, see, this one just has that little bit of dip. Okay, so let's kill that a second. And here's the waves. Now the waves, by default, when it's off, where this one, even when I turn every module off, just the unit being on, has a curve to it. Now, if I turn this off, the plugin is definitely bypassed and it's flat. But with just a plugin on, it's got a little bit of a sound to it. That was the idea behind that. I know some, I've seen some producers on YouTube saying they like to put the 550A on their 2-bus and literally don't change the settings. Just the sound of running through it gives them the flavor they want. Well, that's what you're seeing, by just turning this off and on. But the waves, when it's bypassed, is actually flat. But if I kick it on, this one stays really flat, but it's got a little bump right here at 14K, but it's got a weird slope here all the way up. Well, I mean, it's 3 hertz, but I don't know why that's lifting up like that. So let's push some things around. So this is 1.5. Looks like that. Let's go to 1.5 up here. Let me turn it on. And that kind of matches. Let me go all the way up. I have to pull this down a little bit. So those look similar. Let's try 2.5. So that one's, let me select the bell. And 2.5 here. And that looks close. And actually the bottom end here looks close, except for this still cuts off some low end. But this, the waves one, kind of has this extended low end thing happening here. Let me do the bottom end real quick. So let's do, let's just do like 200 hertz. We'll see, it kind of rounds off. You can see it chops down like that. It's yeah, and that low end, no matter how I move it, that keeps that lift on the very bottom. So here is, well, actually, you know what? Well, yeah, they're both, are they both? Yeah, they're both on shelf. So even though it's on shelf, that's going down. So let's put that in bell. So there's 200 in bell now. This slopes down a little bit and comes down. We put this one in bell. We put it to the same. And it kind of matches the crest a little bit. But here, again, it does that swoop. And I'm sure it's going to be like that everywhere. So even like 500. Right there, it goes a little bit louder. But yeah, bottom end here is like different. This part looks the same. This wave still keeps that little bump right up in here. And this one chops off. And the filter's not even on. So if I put the filter in, you'll see it squeeze in. All right, well, that was that. I wanted to show it in the plugin doctor. I hope you found that interesting as well as the first video. I thought it was pretty interesting looking at these curves. I want to thank Nick Bertling again for letting me use his tracks in the first video, and I want to thank Anthony Satola again for letting me borrow the API 560, and maybe I'll get my hands on a 550 and I'll look at that next to Luna, but I'm kind of just, like I said, I'm going to do some more videos here and there exploring me trying to learn and navigate through Luna. But I appreciate you watching them. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you at the next video. Thanks.